Hey guys, it is Aoife and I'm here with a monthly recommendations. So Kayla over Kayla Rain and Trina at Between Chapters, they both started a Goodreads group called Monthly Recommendations, and each month there is a topic and you can choose to either just recommend a books from this topic in the thread below on the Goodreads group, or you can make a video or a blog post or whatever. I did comment on the Goodreads post at the beginning of the month, but I never ended up making a video, so I'm making a video now. I don't know whether this will go up tonight, which is Monday the 31st of August, or whether it will go up later on in the week in September when there's going to be another topic. But these are all books that are my favourite books and I just haven't really talked about them at length, so I'm going to try and do that now. So the first trilogy I have is called the Ashes Trilogy, and if anyone's kind of been watching my tag videos, I do mention this book quite a lot. I actually don't have the first one because a friend has it, but I have the second one, which is Shadows, and then the first one, which is Monsters. The first book looks very similar to this one, except it's kind of a browny gold colour, and obviously it's called Ashes. This is about a girl called Alex who is dying of a brain tumour. And she goes away to climb this mountain. She used to do with her parents, who have actually sadly passed away, and she's been living with her aunt and uncle. So she goes away to kind of clear her head and kind of come to terms with the fact that she is dying. And she is kind of well used to this. She used to go hiking all the time with her parents, so she knows how to kind of survive kind of with the most basic of means. She knows how to camp, she knows how to cook for herself, she knows how to use a gun. She's pretty independent. So anyway, she meets up with these two people, a grandfather and his granddaughter, and then while she is talking to them, this kind of weird electro pulse kind of thing kind of booms through the land. I don't know whether it happened in the world or just in America, but it happened anyway, and next minute anyone who is kind of middle-aged up to kind of from 25 up to the age of where you would be kind of a pensioner, they all drop dead. They're just gone. They're just dead. And then a lot of the teenagers, they're affected in some way by this electropulse. Now, they are not zombies. This is what I want to make clear. These kids aren't zombies. Something has just changed in their brain and the way they think, that they've become almost animalistic in a way. They're still alive. They are not reanimated corpses, but they will kill humans and they will eat humans. They are not normal teenagers anymore. And the more time goes on, the smarter they get, the more kind of in tune with how they used to be, or their brains at least. They start kind of remembering how to really behave, though they're still extremely violent and they're still cannibals, but they become smarter and more dangerous. So this is just about Alex dealing with this new world, and how she kind of meets different people who will help her survive on her journey. And it's just really dark, and it's really kind of creepy, and I just really loved it. The first book I just flew through. The chapters are quite short, they're easy to read, they're books that are very, very easy to read. Obviously, as you can see, the last one is a little bit thicker than the others, but yeah, it's kind of a real exploration of how people survive, a little bit like all zombie books, but how different people survive in different kind of scenarios, how kind of communities of people survive, how women are treated versus how men are treated when there's these kind of apocalypse things that happen. Really, really interesting. I love it. I would recommend anyone who likes things like The Walking Dead, or The Hunger Games, even, as it says here, for fans of The Hunger Games. Yeah, I would just recommend people to read this and at least give it a go. I'll definitely say that Ashes is probably the best book of the lot, but it does continue all these different things. There's a little bit of an anti-hero in it, who I love, which I didn't love at the start, but by the end of the book I was completely in love with him. Real kind of a conflicting feelings for me, but yeah, I just want more people to read this book so I can talk about this book with more people. So yes, please read this, and please tell me when you read it what you think. The next series that I have here is the Cahill Witch Chronicles. I haven't seen this talked about too much, but it's still fairly new, so maybe just a lot of people just haven't picked it up yet. So this is Born Wicked, Star Cursed, and Sister's Fate. So I have all the series here, though I actually read the first two from the library. I just love the series, so I got them in paperback, and then I ended up getting a third one hardback by an accident from Amazon. I kind of wish it was paperback so they'd match, but oh well. So this is basically about a girl called Kate. She is the oldest sister. She lives in what can only be described as kind of Salem during the witch trials, but it is not the Salem that we would know. It's kind of Salem in magic realism kind of world, where there is, instead of kind of priests and whatnot, is kind of a brotherhood. So they are kind of a little bit like priests, but they can be married. They can be married and have families and have children, and they're not really kind of preachers or anything. They kind of just lay down the laws a little bit like priests used to do in highly Christian societies. Women don't have many rights. They can be wives. They can, they can't really work. They're kind of frowned upon if they do work. And it is about Kate, who is a witch, and both of her sisters are witches as well, and she is completely scared that someone is going to find out that she's a witch, because if the brotherhood find out that you're a witch, really, really bad things can happen, and you can get sent away to a terrible institute where really bad things will happen to you. So it's about Kate kind of trying to control her powers, and trying to make her sisters control her powers, because one of her sisters is a little bit reckless, and then she kind of realizes that more people that she didn't realize are witches as well, and then it obviously carries on into the next two, and it's just a really good book. I really loved it. There's a really gorgeous relationship in it. There is an absence of a love triangle, thank goodness. And the next two series I have is by the same author, and this is my favourite author. I think she's absolutely amazing. A lot of people might know her. She has co-wrote a lot of the Magnus Bane Chronicles with Cassandra Clare. I think she's like best friends with Cassandra Clare, and it is Sarah Rees Brennan. And the last series that she wrote, which just happened to be on top of my pile, so that's what will talk about first, is the Lynburn Legacy, and it is from Unspoken, Untold, and Unmade. So this is about a girl called Cammy who lives in this tiny little village in England called Surrey in the Vale, and it's kind of a real sleepy English village and nothing much happens, but Cammy is a little bit different, and the thing is that Cammy has an imaginary friend, and she can hear her imaginary friend, who's called Jared, in her head all the time from the time she was a baby, and they can talk to each other like all the time, and she's just, it's her imaginary friend, and her best friends kind of know that Jared exists, and so do her family, and while they think that she's a complete weirdo, they're kind of okay with it. It doesn't kind of interfere with her real life too much, but it's kind of like a comfort blanket for her that Jared is always there for her when she's upset or when she's angry. He's there to help her through it. So Cammy is a great character. I think she's just really great. She is curious, she is smart, she's strong. I really love her in this book. She's just the type of female character that every female character should be. She's just a really good role model, I think. So things kick off when this family called the Lynburns, they end up coming back, and they've been gone for decades, and suddenly they're back in Surrey in the Vale, and all these weird things happen, and suddenly their cousin, the new cousin of the Lynburns, who no one really knew existed, is back as well. And his name is Jared, and it turns out that he is Cammy's Jared, so he is not an imaginary friend, he is real, and somehow they can hear each other in their own heads. They can like talk to each other telepathically, and yeah, so that's where it all kicks off. And yeah, so it is a magic, evil sorcerers, a little village trying to defend itself against something that they can't possibly defend themselves against. It is funny, it is dark, it is just lovely. It's just a really good, exciting read. There is LGBT elements in it as well, which I'm sure a lot of people will love. So yeah, and I think Sarah Rees Brennan writes really, really well. She always writes kind of sarcastic characters, funny sarcastic characters, with great fashion sense, and yeah, so I would definitely tell people to give this series a go because it is amazing. And then the next series and the last books I have are the Demon series. I actually can't remember, I don't know whether this actually has a name or not, but it starts with the Demon's Lexicon, and then there's the Demon's Covenant, and it is the Demon's Surrender. This is a book series that I want to reread, but I really loved it. This is what started me off on Sarah Rees Brennan. I actually got this in a Borders closing down sale years ago for half price, and I just was like, oh, I might as well just pick it up because it's only like €4 or something. And then I read it and I absolutely adored it, and I actually emailed Sarah Rees Brennan when I was finished it and was like, oh my god, I love your book, I need more right now. So this is about Nick and Alan, who are brothers, and it is about them trying to fight off demons, and they're trying to find something in particular to help Nick. So there are demons in this, there are magicians in this, lots of cool kind of urban fantasy. There is a brother and sister in this that also come in looking for Nick and Alan's help, and they kind of get drawn into this whole fight with magicians and demons and everything. So yeah, I can't remember too much of it because it's been a while since I read it, but I do want to reread them again, but all I can remember is that I absolutely love them. So I would definitely suggest people to read these books. So that is it for me, guys, and let me know if you have read these books. Let me know if I have made you add them to your TBR. If you do read them, please reach out to me and let me know, because these are awesome, my favourite books, and I would love other people to just share their opinion on them with me, because I love to talk about my favourite books. So I will see you guys again next time, and until then, happy reading.